This weekend marks the 20th anniversary of the day Barry Sanders walked away from football. Sanders announced his retirement on the eve of the Lions training camp. Now, I had gotten word right after the last game of the season, Barry was going to leave and go to Europe. He was going to go to London. And I thought that was strange. And his agent said, I'm going to tell you what Barry's going to do, but you can't report on it until he gets on his flight. And I had to wait until I got confirmation that Barry Sanders had left the country. He was that upset, disappointed, and not sure what he wanted to do with his football career. And he got on a late-night flight to go to Europe, and then I got the go-ahead to report that Barry Sanders had basically left the building and was contemplating retirement. Now, we look at running backs now. We've devalued running backs. We're looking at the situation with Melvin Gordon. We're looking at Ezekiel Elliott. Le'Veon Bell got paid. But, this was a different time, a different era where you looked at your running back and he wasn't interchangeable. No one ever said that about Barry Sanders. He didn't have a good team around him. I think they may have made the playoffs once. I think the other marquee guy they had was Herman Moore. But other than that, they didn't have much with the Lions. No running back in history could have made something out of nothing more than Sanders did with the Detroit Lions. There were a lot of players that were like Barry Sanders as far as the numbers he would put up, but there was nobody who went about it the way Barry did. And he would run into a pile, and you got the feeling that the play was stopped, and then it's as if the pile gave birth to another long run by Barry Sanders. He didn't know everybody in the league. I remember showing him a highlight where he turned a defensive back around, and I said, do you even know who that is? And he goes, no. I don't think he loved football. I think he was great at football. I think he loved basketball and was good enough to probably play at Oklahoma State. Played pickup games with him. Barry could stand and dunk. He was around 5'9", and really loved playing basketball and was very good. Even though he played only 10 seasons, Barry Sanders sits third on the all-time rushing list, but I think those in front of him know if Barry wanted to, Barry would hold all of these records. He just didn't want to. Plus, he grew up in a household where his father kept reminding him that he's no Jim Brown. No matter what Barry did, it was not going to be good enough to be better than Jim Brown in his father's eyes. But no matter why or when he decided to hang him up, there's no doubt that Barry Sanders, an all-time great. And I used to get into these discussions with people. They're like, who's a better running back, Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders? I said, well, Barry's a better running back. But what Emmitt did with that team, and they won championships, he played hurt. He played with that separated shoulder. When you needed Emmitt to do something, Emmitt did it. He got it done. It was just Barry played on a bad team. He was a great running back on a bad team. Would he have been a great running back on the Cowboys? Yes, he would have. That was a great offensive line. And you had weapons. You had a quarterback who was stable, who was consistent. You had wide receivers, tight end. You had a full team with the Dallas Cowboys. But Barry Sanders, 20 years ago, and Barry at the ripe old age of now 51, probably can't give you 100 yards in a game, but probably close to it.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.